For decades, Crystal Lake had been a place of whispered legends and dark stories. Tourists came and went, but few stayed long. The locals, hardened by years of strange happenings and unexplained disappearances, knew better than to venture too deep into the surrounding woods. Camp Crystal Lake, once a vibrant summer camp for children, now stood abandoned, its rotting cabins and forgotten docks a testament to the horrors that had transpired there. Jason Voorhees, the lake's infamous guardian, was more than just a myth. He was a walking nightmare, a remnant of pure, unadulterated rage trapped in the body of a man long thought dead. His grotesque form, hidden behind a white, chipped hockey mask, wandered the woods like a vengeful ghost, seeking to kill anyone who dared trespass into his domain. Born of a tragic drowning incident and his mother's obsessive quest for revenge, Jason had become something far worse, a relentless force of death. On the outskirts of the lake, rumors persisted about his immortality, his inability to feel pain, and his inhuman strength. Bodies of campers and hikers would occasionally turn up, brutally torn apart or impaled in ways too grotesque to describe. The few who survived swore that Jason was a silent predator, always watching, always waiting. He killed with brutal efficiency, never giving his victims a chance to escape. It was a new summer, and despite the warnings, a fresh group of college students had set up camp by the lake's edge. They, like many before them, laughed at the old stories, mocking the boogeyman that haunted the woods. Unbeknownst to them, Jason had already sensed their presence. As dusk fell over Crystal Lake, the students began their party. They were loud, carefree, and completely unaware that Jason was stalking them from the shadows, watching their every move. He had been drawn to their presence, like a moth to flame, and now his killing spree would begin. One couple had wandered off from the main group, seeking privacy near the old cabins. They whispered and giggled, oblivious to the looming figure in the distance. Jason moved silently, his mud-caked boots leaving barely a trace on the damp ground. With slow, deliberate movements, he emerged from the trees behind them. The girl's laughter was cut short as Jason grabbed her by the throat, lifting her effortlessly into the air. Her boyfriend turned in horror just in time to see Jason slam her body against a tree, snapping her neck with a sickening crack. The boy ran, screaming for help, but it was no use. Jason's machete cleaved through his back, slicing him in two with a single, powerful swing. Blood sprayed across the ground as Jason stood over the lifeless bodies, momentarily satisfied before he turned back toward the camp. Back at the fire, the rest of the group was still oblivious to the horror unfolding around them. Jason approached silently, his dark form blending with the trees. He grabbed one of the campers by the hair, pulling her into the darkness before anyone could react. A blood-curdling scream pierced the night, but it was quickly silenced by the sound of flesh meeting steel. Chaos erupted. The remaining campers scattered in terror, running blindly into the woods. Jason pursued them one by one, methodical and ruthless. He impaled one boy on a tree branch, skewering him like a doll. Another girl tripped and fell, but before she could get up, Jason loomed over her, driving his machete through her chest, pinning her to the forest floor. The final camper, drenched in sweat and trembling with fear, tried to hide in one of the dilapidated cabins. He barricaded the door, but Jason was unstoppable. The masked killer tore through the wooden walls like paper, grabbing the terrified boy and dragging him outside. Jason's machete flashed in the moonlight, and a moment later the boy's head rolled across the ground. Jason stood alone now, the fresh corpses of his victims scattered around him. His breathing was slow, almost mechanical, as he stared blankly at the lifeless bodies. The night was quiet again, but Jason's instincts told him something was wrong. He was being watched. Far above the Earth, aboard a sleek, invisible spacecraft, the Predator watched Jason through its advanced scanning equipment. The Yautja, an elite hunter from an alien race, had been traveling the cosmos in search of the ultimate prey. The legends of Crystal Lake and its seemingly invincible killer had intrigued him. Jason Voorhees was an anomaly, a human that defied death itself, who killed with no hesitation, no remorse, and no fear. To the Predator, Jason was the perfect target, an adversary worthy of the most elite hunt. The Predator's ship hovered silently above the forest, invisible to human eyes. With a flick of his wrist, the Predator activated his stealth mode, cloaking his body in invisibility. He leaped down from the craft, landing silently in the dense swamp, just beyond the tree line where Jason stood among his fresh kills. The alien hunter's thermal vision painted a vivid image of the masked killer. Unlike other prey, Jason's body was cold, lacking the usual warmth of living humans. But that didn't matter to the predator. He wanted Jason as a trophy, and nothing was going to stop him. From the safety of the trees, the predator watched as Jason continued his slaughter, marking him with his advanced targeting system. The alien hunter admired Jason's brutality and relentlessness, but the predator had taken down beasts far larger and more dangerous. This was another challenge, another hunt. The predator extended his wrist blades, letting them gleam in the moonlight. He wanted this kill to be personal. Jason, sensing a new presence, stopped in his tracks. His lifeless eyes, hidden behind the hockey mask, scanned the trees. For the first time in years, Jason felt something strange, an intruder in his territory that was not like the others. This one was different. With a shimmer of light, the predator decloaked, revealing his full, imposing figure. Standing nearly 7 feet tall, his armor glistened with alien technology, and his mandibles clicked together in anticipation of the fight. He let out a low, guttural growl, challenging Jason. Jason, emotionless and driven by pure instinct, gripped his machete tighter and began to walk toward the predator. He had no fear, no hesitation. This alien was just another intruder, another victim. The predator activated his shoulder-mounted plasma caster, firing a series of energy bolts directly at Jason's chest. The blasts hit with devastating force, tearing chunks of flesh from Jason's body and sending him crashing into the ground. But Jason stood up, completely unfazed. Black, rotten blood dripped from his wounds as he lumbered forward, raising his machete high. With a growl, the predator extended his blades and charged, dodging Jason's heavy, deadly swings. Each slash of the machete met only air as the predator moved with lightning speed. When Jason raised his blade again, the predator ducked low, slashing across his midsection. Black blood sprayed, but Jason, unfazed, kept coming. Jason's machete came for the predator's neck, but the alien blocked with his gauntlet, sparks flying. In a counterattack, the predator tore into Jason's torso, ripping open decayed flesh. But Jason was relentless. He grabbed the predator, slamming him into a tree with brutal force. The predator quickly recovered, rolling away before Jason could strike again. The two circled, tension thick in the misty swamp. Jason charged with a powerful downward blow, but the predator sidestepped, spinning behind him. A flurry of strikes tore into Jason's back, cutting deep. Staggering, Jason tried one final swing. But the predator leaped onto his back, driving his blades into Jason's shoulders, forcing him to drop the machete. Unarmed and weakened, Jason was slowing. The predator sensed the end. With a roar, he leaped in front of Jason, slashing upward in one brutal motion. His wrist blade sliced through Jason's neck with a sickening shake, severing the head cleanly. Jason's body crumpled into the swamp as his head rolled to the ground. The predator stood over his fallen foe, black blood dripping from his blades. Silence fell over Crystal Lake as Jason's body sank beneath the muck. Lifting Jason's head by the strands of rotting flesh, the predator held it high, his honor restored. This was no ordinary kill, it was a victory worthy of legend. As the predator moved through the trees, vanishing into the misty forest, a faint ripple disturbed the still waters of Crystal Lake. Beneath the surface, something stirred. The swamp had claimed many lives, and it had brought Jason back before. Perhaps it would again. For now, Jason Voorhees was dead. But Crystal Lake was never truly at peace, and neither was the legend of the man behind the mask. Somewhere, in the far reaches of the galaxy, tales would spread of a Yacha warrior who took the head of a creature that could not easily die. And yet, even in the darkest corners of space, the predator could not shake the feeling that the hunt was not yet over. Jason Voorhees had been defeated, but in the depths of Crystal Lake, death was never truly the end.